One of the most interesting things that I have seen in the firearms industry is the rise of Staccato. They were originally a company called STI who made 2011s for the competition market, primarily USPSA and IPSC. And a few years ago, they 180'd their brand completely and wanted to focus on more duty style, duty specific carry guns and get away from some of the competition guns that they were originally known for. Now, I've owned a Staccato, or I should say a 2011 from STI, from Staccato, since before owning a Staccato was cool. This is my STI Steel Open, DVC Steel Open, that was made by STI originally, and then it was heavily modified by Alzida. So I bought this gun years ago to play with, to shoot an open gun and see just how fast I could shoot it. And frankly, I wish I had never bought this because I never shoot it. But they used to make guns very similar to this right here, and lots of other models. And then a little bit later on, they were like, hey, we need to rebrand. We need to focus on a new customer segment. Let's take our 2011s and make them a little bit more practical. Now, there's been a lot of debate online whether the new Staccato pistols are actually reliable handguns, if they are duty rated, or if they're more of sort of a range toy, a cool Hollywood gun that makes people feel really good and are just a nice gun to shoot. And I have many opinions about 2011s in general, not necessarily Staccatos, but what we want to do today is myself and Brantley are going to take 3 different Staccatos. We have the CS right here, which is their little compact hybrid stack gun. This is a 16-round magazine. It's not the same size as a standard 2011 magazine, so it's a little like mini 2011. The P model, which is probably the most popular and also the most accessible 2011 Staccato version. And of course, the very fancy Staccato XC, which has the built-in compensator and just looks like an absolute John Wick gun. It's got the mag well, got all the cool stuff. And what we're gonna do is in one day, we're gonna try as hard as we can, we're gonna be shooting 2,000 rounds through all 3 of these guns each. So this is all my ammunition that I'm gonna be shooting, and we're not just gonna be shooting one ammo type. So I have Winchester 115 grain, 800 rounds of that, 200 rounds of 147 hollow points. I've got PPU ammo, 124 grain, S&B, let's see what this is, 124, and some ZQI Turkish ammo in 124 as well. And we're gonna see just how these guns cycle all of this different ammunition, because that is something that I have experienced here on the range with these guns. We've shot these a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, that they don't always like all types of 9mm, all types of ammo. So we're gonna be mixing it up with a number of different manufacturers and grainages and types of ammo, and we're gonna see what happens. Now, the magazines we're using today, we do have some Staccato magazines, and this one actually says STI on it. So we're gonna be shooting these through the guns, but we went and supplemented what we have with Springfield Prodigy magazines. So these are 50 bucks a piece. They're a little bit more attainable than your standard Staccato magazines, which range from $70 to $80 depending on what you buy. And I will say that is cheaper. It is expensive, but that is cheaper than they originally cost. When I was purchasing magazines for my STI down there, I was spending about $120 to $140 a magazine. So they have become cheaper and more attainable, which is awesome. And then the Prodigy magazines are 50 bucks, which is not too bad. So we have a bunch of these, but if we start to have equipment issues, firearm issues with the Staccatos, and we're using these Springfield magazines, we're not necessarily gonna know if it's a Staccato issue or if it is a Springfield magazine issue. So we're gonna try to, we're gonna try to be objective about this. If we have issues while using actual Staccato magazines, well then there's an issue with the Staccato magazine gun combo and what is happening. As far as price point on these guns, these are very expensive, as many of you guys know. The CS comes in at $2,500. The PE comes in at $2,500. And the XC comes in at a whopping $4,300. And that doesn't include optic, weapon light, extra magazines. I think that comes with 1 magazine for that price. So this gun is the price of a very nice rifle with an aim point, with a laser, with a flashlight, with a suppressor. This is a whole lot of money right here. So we have about 10 grand in Staccatos we're gonna be shooting for 4,000 rounds. Let's see what happens. Well, that's lame. Ah, okay. So, that's a sub 2. 10 meters. All A's. I don't like this though. That's not good. And this is like a thing that is happening on, I think, my second shot. I'm firing, the gun is rising, and it's not falling. It's not like recovering as fast as I'd like. I like guns that are snappy, and this is not snappy. This is like shooting a Scar 16 is what this is. So as the gun's coming down, I fire early, and I get one right here. And that's where like I have all these extra rounds that are high and right in the recoil of the gun, not settling with the gun. When I settle, it looks like this. That's good. That is not. But that's a sub 2 bill. Technically, that's passing at 10 meters, but I don't like it. A 1-1-3 draw, hitting the safety, which my hands don't like. A 1-8, a 1-8, a 1-7, a 1-9, a 1-4. I have to drop like more than my Glock to deactivate. It's super stiff. So slide locks work better. Like, or not. Hitting the bolt release with my left hand is pretty quick though. That's nice. All right, so I have a Prodigy mag in here. I just went to do a reload, and the mag, these flush fit Prodigy mags do not fall out of the XC. Like, so you gotta depress. And that wasn't even empty. That's another thing I've noticed. This will slide lock on a single round on these and on the Staccato mags. So I'll be at slide lock, be like, oh sick, I can reload. And it's probably because this round is like kind of stifled down in the mag like this. But it's locking back on a live round. Like I've had that 3 times now. This mag can fall out. It also weighs a lot with all the ammos. This mag falls out, so that one doesn't. Okay.
All right, so we are literally just starting to shoot these guns, and I think I have maybe shot 5-6 mags, and this is a Staccato mag, the new one, Gen 3, and I just had a failure to eject where I had a spent casing still in the chamber, and it was still trying to feed another one in. So that is not a win for the Staccato. You can see it was easily cleared, but these are freshly lubed guns. I put oil on them, around the barrel bushing, around the takedown lever, everything like that. So, don't know why this is happening. This is also with Winchester 115. I've also had 2 light strikes as well. So, probably the gun, not necessarily the ammo. little bit of trigger freeze on that last one. Points well. You do your part. It seems to be the gun does its part, which is amazing because that's literally how guns work. Well, not that fast. 0.95 with a big stick. A little break from the full-size guns. Got the Staccato CS iron sights. So we'll see how those work. That's it's a little jumpy right there. That is very jumpy. 8.2. I'm surprised of how jumpy it is for being such a small gun. It's controllable, but it just feels jumpy. .135. A little shirt grab on that one. Extra style points. Locked back, which is nice. I don't know. Not my favorite. Not the worst I've ever shot, though.
This is shooting a whole lot better. Yeah, I like this more. I don't like having that stupid compensator. Okay, I'm not respecting that middle target enough. All right, Charlie. Alpha. Three alpha. 3 alpha. 3 alpha. All alpha run. It's already there. And a 702. And I was just letting the gun do its thing. I'm not muscling it, I'm not pushing it, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just kind of gripping, nice, and just letting the gun rise and fall. No function! Flub that.
Alright, we have the Staccato XC. Gonna start shooting that a little bit. Just shot the P. RP for some reason, or maybe it's P, the Ps in general have a very heavy trigger compared to this thing. Then shot the CS, the little mini gun, or mini 2011, whatever you want to call it. Not very impressed by that. But I've shot this in the past and I kind of like it. Let's see what else it can do. All kinds of good. 49 rounds in 13.58 seconds from 7-ish yards with one Charlie.
5, 2, 3, so 0.6 faster.
2, 3. 3 alpha. 3 alpha. 2 alpha, 1 Charlie. 3 alpha. 3 alpha.
3 Charlie total.
Yeah, actually no, we'll do an instant swap.
But we'll do opposite now, far close.
No. We have to do close to far for comparison's sake. Ooh, those A's in the back are really good. I missed the safety. Time?
623.
No! No, really? Oh man, the safety.
Your first shot was 131. Charlie.
Oh! Oh!
That target to this target.
That's hilarious.
That is freaking hilarious.
That's called being a retard.
I got 2 Charlies so far.
I didn't look, and then I did everything right on him. I was like
4 Charlies.
I can shoot some of the time, and then other times I can't. Get in there.
920.
I suck at shooting. I suck at shooting today. It's not great. I should have slept more. I'm lax on that.
After the reload, yeah. Your split times changed dramatically from a 21 to a 28.
Do every reload like that.
Oh, thank you. All right, we just got done shooting the XC and the P for about 700 to 800 rounds apiece with Winchester Win15. I personally had, I think, 2 failure to ejects with the P and several light strikes. That we've also had that kind of issue with light strikes with the Winchester and other guns. So it's not just like a gun specific, it's kind of crappy ammo. Some guns are more prone to it than others. Glocks, you very rarely have issues. But with this Staccatos, we've had some issues. So now we're switching over to PPU, some 124 Euro stuff, and we'll see how that fares.
Oh, I didn't time that right.
Terrible. Absolute terrible. 2002.
I shot the white guy. I shot both white guys. I shot all the white guys. $18.83. This is like the Titanfall 2 Smart Pistol. That's what this is like.
$15.63.
All right, so we just finished shooting all the PPU ammo, and I don't think I had any problems. I was mainly shooting that gun, and the last couple hundred have been on the. No, I just swapped this. It was on that gun.
Yeah, the XC. You didn't have any malfunctions, no light strikes, no failure to eject, anything. So maybe it's just a Winchester thing.
Yeah, probably. But we still have. So now we're on S&B. This is 124, and then we'll do 147 Winchesters in a little bit. Yep. But we'll do the Turkish ammo after this and save that for the end, in case we don't get to it. So, this is not like the S&B, apparently. All right, so this gun is not running the S&B at all. Now it's interesting because the XC is, but I noticed this earlier, the XC seemed to be eating the Winchester better, it's eating the S&B better, so the P is a little bit more finicky. And maybe it's because it's an older gun, but that, to be honest, doesn't really matter because this is a product that's on the market. So, all right, so now we'll remove. So it's not extracting or ejecting this ammo at all. New mag, Prodigy mag. All right. big Prodigy mag. Okay, so I can replicate this within like 15 rounds. Prodigy mag. And then I have 2 mags over here. Joints here. So this is a Staccato mag with S&B 124. First shot. Okay. Figure that out. Let's try it again. All right, that seemed to work. Old STI mag, also Staccato, right? Technically. Same issue. So, that's STI mags having a problem, Prodigy mags having a problem, 2 STI mags having issues. Can't even get through like a full mag. So what I'm gonna say is this gun can't shoot the S&B, so I'm gonna give all that ammo to Brantley and I'm gonna swap 2 new ammo. But this is enough for me for like any training session. I'm done, right? Like if I can't complete a drill without having a problem, that removes any sort of valuable rep from like what I'm trying to pay attention to. Not to mention, people don't think about this enough, but if you have a gun that is malfunctioning and having issues, that is going to distract you from actually training. And I think a lot of people don't think about that or they don't realize it. And they're not honest. They're not honest about what is happening with their gun and what is actually happening in their training environment. So you want to minimize those mental issues so that you can get better at shooting faster. I'm getting tired. My hands, they don't want to work anymore. ZKY seems to be working, that's cool.
The very first round that I fired out of this gun from the 147 Winchesters is a failure to extract. Now this is with the Prodigy 20 round mags, so I'm not sure if a mag can cause ejection issues. Probably, I don't know, I'm not a gunsmith, but I don't think that's good though. See if it was support hand. It was not support hand pressure. Let's see if it's limp wristing. Not limp wristing. If it is a mag issue. There's a STI Gen 3 STI mag. So, I don't think this is a mag issue. I think it's a gun issue. Is the gun too dry? Possibly. I don't know. That's unusable at this point. We're gonna go oil it up and come back. Alright, she is freshly oiled. And the problem still persists. And this is still with Staccato's Gen 3 mags. Well, that finished. That didn't finish. Let's see. Staccato big stick. Whatever the heck that is. Yeah, so this gun, out of the two we have the XC and the P. The P, which I'm shooting, seems to be the most ammo picky, where it only likes certain rounds and it does not like anything else. And apparently Winchester 147 hollow points is not something it likes. Ah! More failure to eject. This is a Winchester 115. I'm not sure if we've just broken the gun or what, but now it's not wanting to work with anything. All right. One mic on this deal. Another failure to eject. Another failure to eject. Try to hold the gun like really, really low so I'm not contacting anything. More. See that? We are getting close to being done shooting both of these guns. However, we've encountered a problem where the Staccato P does not want to shoot. It is now turned into a single action only gun where you fire and it gets a case that gets stuck in the barrel, which is not, it's a spent case, and a new round is trying to come into it. We've tried new mags, Staccato Gen 3 mags, Prodigy mags, dry, freshly lubed. Nothing works. Winchester White 115, Winchester 147.
Which worked originally.
Yes, it worked originally, so we're thinking something is up with the gun and it just, maybe it's too dirty. I don't know. But we're gonna suspend testing on this gun. We're only like a few hundred rounds short on it. And now we're both just gonna start burning and blasting with the XC.
On that, how many rounds do you think this has had before we shot today? Because we've put probably 1,700 on it. Well, no, we've probably put 1,700 on this gun today.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to shoot 4,000 and, most of these.
2,000 pieces, yeah.
And then you said they each had a few hundred before?
This one probably has a lot more. Because I've heard stories of other guys shooting this gun a good bit, so it has.
We haven't had anyone shoot,
Call it 1,000 rounds total.
Probably 1,000 before, because, it wasn't that much. But, so that gun's
this is
probably around 3,000 and having problems.
This is, I don't know what generation and what year model it is, but it definitely is an older gen Staccato. So that might play into it.
Actually, no, we've only had it for like 2 years, I think. 2 or 3 years.
New or new or used?
It was new. I'm 99% sure. So,
okay.
Problems, yay. Okay, let's shoot this. Let's shoot the race gun. So this is the 147 Winchester hollow point defense tactical loads, and we're gonna see if they work in this gun. I think they will. This gun has been eating everything, so I think it will be just fine. But let's just do a nice little bill drill. Actually feel pretty well. One-handed. A little one-handed bill drill. I threw one up here, but the rest were good. The Prodigy mags are insanely stiff to drop out of the gun and do any sort of like speed reload. And you could say, oh, weak little hands. Well, I'm sure my hands are tougher at doing this stuff than most people who shoot guns. And if I'm having a hard time... So one of the things that I want to test is shooting this pistol with gloves. Gloves makes shooting handguns super annoying and difficult and challenging. But I actually have a theory that this gun may be easier and better to shoot with gloves than some other guns because of the weight. Like the trigger is a little bit easier to pull than some guns. So the lack of dexterity in the gloved finger may not matter as much on a gun like this. So from a duty or tactical perspective, you know, gloves might actually be better on a gun like this. But I don't know. It's just a theory. The safety's hard to get. All right, sucks. Stupid things. Part of it is these gloves aren't broken in, but twisting to hit the mag release. It's even harder with gloves on. All right, so we are done shooting 2,000 rounds each through these various Staccatos. Now, we did not shoot the CS a whole lot, just full disclaimer, because we only have one magazine. We were not able to get more in time. They were out of stock everywhere, I believe, which is either a good sign that there's high demand for this, or it's a bad sign that they're not making very many, and so the weapon is not fully supported yet. So I shot like 3 mags through it. Very painful, to be honest.
Definitely.
We may have to revisit this, or not. We'll see. But we focus our energy on the P and the XC, which are far more popular, I'm sure. They've at least been shown on social media and YouTube much more. And the thing that was cool about this gun, because I wasn't sure, like this was, you know, as we were going into this, I just assumed this gun's going to have failures because it's comped with a sight tracker type compensator. Like there's just going to be issues. Well, it so turned out that this gun ate all the ammo we threw at it. And the P was the one that actually had more issues with a couple of the different brands of ammunition. And then towards the end of the shooting, which, you know, would put 1,800 rounds on this and probably close to that. Well, actually, no, probably 1,700 on this, you know, because we shot a few hundred, you know, extra rounds on this. So this is the one that actually had more issues. And this one was the one that survived, which is good because this is, you know, $4,300. This had better be able to shoot just fine. So starting out in the day, the first thing I noticed with this gun is I shoot comped guns pretty lax. It's just something that occurs very quickly, and I was finding myself not bearing down on the gun as hard as I should and actually getting the benefit out of the compensator. Now this is how most people shoot comped guns. Most people get a comped gun going, it'll do all the work for me, and then they let the gun do all the work, and it ends up being about as much recoil as a normal gun that you just grip hard. So you're wasting a lot of money on a comp that you're not actually getting any benefit from. But later on through the day, as I transitioned over to this gun, shot that a bunch, and then came back to the XC, I started gripping it a little bit more, which is kind of awkward. This is something I noticed right away. Due to how fat the grip is and how shallow the frame is and how smooth, at least for me, there was not a great place for my support hand thumb. It just kind of hung out, and I didn't feel like I had much to grab onto with my support hand. And that carried over to this gun as well, even though it has a much more textured grip that is also more painful. It was kind of the same thing. It's very smooth on the side. There's just not something you can dig your thumb into like on other pistols. But later on in the day, as I learned this gun and figured it out and started gripping it a little bit tighter, I got much better performance out of it. So if you're someone who is interested in buying an XC or you're interested in buying a gun that is similar, just understand that this thing is not going to do much for you unless you're actually gripping the darn thing and shooting it properly. Otherwise, and you can see it in people's videos, the gun does a lot of wobbling and fishing around, and that means you're not actually getting any benefit out of the compensator itself. Now, when I transitioned over to the P after shooting this initially, I actually shot this better. This is more similar to my Glock 17 that I shoot all the time. So it's just like a normal gun, and I actually really enjoyed shooting it just normal, like standard. But then when I came back to this, I was like, okay, like, it's kind of cool, I guess. So that was my experience with it. The reloading, I will say, first off, the Prodigy mags worked. They seem to work pretty well in all the guns. However, I would stay away from the flush fit mags as they do not drop free. I could not get them to drop free on any of these guns, whether they have bullets in them or bullets out. Probably because it's a tight fit around in the mag well. With the flush fit magazines, that's an actual Staccato. This is a Prodigy. But all the ones with the extensions, the 20s and the longer one, those drop free just fine. Now they were still stiffer, and I think it's because of the material finish on the actual magazine. They were much stiffer to actually release out of the gun than the actual Staccato magazines. So I do think the Staccato magazines are superior. If you were to buy magazines, they are more expensive. So if you want to get some Prodigy mags to kind of beat up, you know, for your Staccato, and then get your Staccato mags for like your duty or your house gun, or for actually doing things with, that might be a good course of action. But I would stay clear of the flush fit until, I don't know, they figure out how to make them drop free, because that's kind of important.
Yeah, so my findings are pretty much the same. I have shot the XC a few times before I took it out from a personal range day because I was interested in it, and it definitely does have a tendency to make you lax because it shoots so well that you're like, hey, I don't have to do too much to it. The gun allows me to do it for me. And that's just not the correct way to think about it, for sure. You actually kind of have to think about the fundamentals more so, I think, with that gun because it shoots so well versus a gun like even the P. Like it tells you, hey, you're not doing the fundamentals correctly. Like if you're receiving the feedback from the gun, it kind of tells you and makes you stay more aware of maintaining fundamentals. The XC does not do that. I had a lot of malfunctions. Like the first mag, I had malfunctions with this gun. Failure to extracts and light strikes with Winchester 115, and literally I think every single other type of ammo with this gun as well. So I'm not sure if this is just a R-specific P that is messed up because this is not a brand new gun. We've actually shot this for other holster development things, or if it's just the whole P line in general, because this is their duty-rated model, they say. So I'm not sure about that. Like I said, the XE is much less ammo finicky than it was. And then just the whole like beaver tail for me on these guns is just not fun. It just digs into the back of the web of your hands. I mean, I shoot a Glock, which is literally like a rectangle. Like it's not comfortable. And I'm saying this is not comfortable. So take that for what it's worth. But
we didn't even do any appendix carry, which is even worse.
Yeah, no, I would not want to appendix carry.
Trying to grab it, like,
no.
Yeah.
One thing to note too is we lubed these guns when we first started, so they had a good baseline. They were not clean; they were just wet. And we also grip taped the
safety
thumb safety, whatever this safety is, the backstrap
beaver
safety.
Tail, backstrap
Beaver
safety.
Thank you.
Beaver tail safety.
Beaver tail safety, because I've had issues in the past of like not hitting it off the draw because of just a different grip. So we just maintained the thumb safety. I wouldn't recommend that if you're going to carry it or if for duty purposes or whatever it may be. So if this is your specific gun that you train with, get good with that. For us Glock shooters, we can get away with doing it for a day. So
no, tape it. Just do it anyway.
If you ran this in appendix with the grip safety tape, I would be highly dangerous to run that very close to valuable items. I would. You don't want to trust that.
The bigger issue with that is not that these aren't like drop safe and the hammer can fall and stuff. The issue I actually have is accessibility from the appendix carry position, because this is so. If you draw any gun with a beaver tail in the appendix carry position, it is not a fun time. Because typically you're running your thumb on top of the slide. You're not trying to like dig past your stomach and your gut, and you just can't do that well with a hammer gun. So we didn't do any appendix carry stuff. I will say we did have sidecars out here. So we make holsters for Staccatos. Been doing that for a long time. We have appendix carry and concealment options for these guns. But when we got out here, I was like, you know what? We're going to focus on shooting. We're already going to be close to time, shooting 2,000 rounds, which takes a long time, especially since we wanted to actually shoot drills and see what's going on. We don't want to just spam into the berm and shoot trash. We don't want to do that. We actually want to like figure out what's going on with the guns. So we ran Ragnarok holsters and rag carriers just for efficiency, and it's the same holster that we use for everything else. So we have a good comparison of performance and skill. Sidecars and stuff, like, yeah, you can absolutely get one for a weapon light. For the gun, you can run an appendix, run it at 3 or 4 o'clock. Most people, I think, are not probably running these as EDC guns, although I know some people do and some people will. But boy, this is a beast if that's what you're going to do, especially once you add a X300 or something similar to it. So that would be oof. It's very big. Now, as far as is a Staccato worth it to buy? So to me, this is one of these guns where the people that are buying these are buying them for a multitude of reasons. But a lot of people that I've talked to and I've seen are buying it because they want a cool gun. They're not necessarily buying it because of like the insane reliability or the awesome like trigger, and I would say the trigger in that gun actually sucks, or not that one, the P. Trigger in this one's a little better. I'm sure you can lighten it and adjust it. Most people are buying a Staccato because they want to shoot better by buying a piece of equipment. And these are, if you give this gun to a new shooter compared to something else, they will shoot this gun better than something else. Now, I don't think it's going to be that much better of an increase, but people will feel like they're John Wick. They will feel like they're a better shooter shooting this gun because it does sort of shoot itself a little bit easier. I will say though, starting out in the day, I was not doing real well with this gun. It doesn't shoot itself completely. You still have to put some input into the gun and get it to do the things that you want it to do. So if you're someone who wants to buy the gun for fun, you want to have a cool gun, you want to show off, you want to go to the range, you want to split it really fast, absolutely buy a Staccato. They're great for that. If you're someone who is trying to buy a gun for reliability and something to protect yourself with or protect the lives of other people, personally, I am not going to trust my life to a 2011. Not right now, maybe in 5 or 10 years or so, but just due to the reliability issues that I've seen with these guns in the past and even saw today, and magazine issues, some of the ergonomics, the ability to carry an appendix or not be able to carry appendix well, there's just not a good reason for me to buy a gun like this for the purpose of protecting myself and potentially other people. I know there's guys out there who run it outside the waistband in some sort of Safariland holster, and the intent is if I have to draw this gun and use it, I want it to be the best gun possible, the best weapon system, so that I can deliver accurate fire on a threat as fast as possible. And like, I get all of that, 100%. However, the gun needs to work. The gun's gonna have to work when it comes out of the holster. It doesn't matter how great the trigger is. It doesn't matter how smooth the comp is. The gun is going to have to work reliably 99.99% of the time, in my opinion, or somewhere around there, if you are trusting the lives of other people with it. And personally, I would not be using one of these guns for that. That's not to say though, because I know some people get all fired up in the comments, if this gun were in my house on the table, would I not go for it if something is happening? No, I'll take this gun over nothing. But I'm still going to prioritize other guns, Glocks, M&Ps, even a SIG, to be honest, and a lot of other guns over a 2011. Now, maybe I'm just a Glock snob, and maybe you are too, but there are enough issues with these guns, and we're not the only ones who've had them, that I don't think it's something that people should be buying as their only gun for personal defense or for concealed carry. I think you should have something that is much more reliable. If you want to have a fun gun, awesome. You want to shoot matches, you want to shoot 3-gun, you want to go to tactical games, like yeah, it's a cool gun. The stakes are not that high if the gun has an issue. But even today, I was getting very frustrated with the gun failing on drills, where it wouldn't cycle certain ammunition, so then that rep is completely wasted. And in a training environment, I don't tolerate that. If I have a gun that is slowing me down to have max efficiency, I get a new gun, or I change it completely, or I do something, because I'm not going to tolerate like a bunch of malfunctions and issues. So that's just my take on 2011s in general. I will say I'm more confident about this gun after today. Like, this gun ate ammo and it did things. Like, that was actually really cool to see, especially for $4 grand. Like, I'm happy to see that this did well. But it still had some issues, and I'm still like, yeah, I'm not gonna use one.
At the end of the day, if you spend $2,500 or $4,300, you're not getting skill. So no matter what gun you buy, whether it be a Glock, Staccato, like I said, PDPs, MPs, Like, go out and actually train with that gun and put reps on that one in dry fire from appendix carry, from your Ragnarok, and actually get good with that one and kind of learn the nuances of that gun, and then transfer those fundamentals to other guns. But you're not just going to pick up the Staccato and be a Grandmaster shooter or John Wick or whatever it may be.
I will say though, when we were shooting the long drill, really fast full sprint with this gun, it was fun. This is the smart pistol from Titanfall 2. That's what this is. Yes, it was fun. Am I going to prefer shooting my Glock tomorrow when we come out and film more stuff? Yeah, I'm going to prefer shooting my Glock over this. But it was fun to shoot, I will say, and have unlimited ammunition in the gun practically with a 26 and one in the chamber. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, that's fun. But again, is it worth the money? Should you go spend that $4,000 on something else? Possibly, probably. If you're made of money, yeah, go buy one, buy 3. Shoot them once a year when you go to the range and hang out with your buddies. Like, that's awesome. But for most people, this is not the kind of purchase you probably need to be looking into. You need to be looking into rifle, body armor, night vision, training, ammunition for your Glock so you can actually be a good shooter. Those expenses will be much more beneficial than something like this, because for $4,300 plus magazines and with tax, you're looking at $4,800 to get this gun right here. And then the optic, although I won't count that because you would put that on another gun anyway. $4,800, you can buy a lot of cool stuff for $4,800, or you can get closer to being out of debt. So. Cool gun though, it ran, I was happy about that. We'll see about the P. And I hope this was insightful for some of you guys who are considering staccatos or you are interested in our take on staccatos. I would love to shoot like to 10,000 rounds, but that's just something that we're probably not going to do on these particular handguns. But there are some other folks out there, Ben Stager namely, who has taken these guns out and shot them quite a lot from an objective standpoint, who bought the guns with his own money and shot them, and I really respect his opinion on these guns, and he had some good things to say as well. So if you're interested in more information on the Staccato series, go to his YouTube channel and check out the videos that he did on the Staccato and what he found from shooting those things, and he was shooting those every day. He was going out and shooting like 1,000 rounds every day, and he did that for a couple weeks, and he got his gun up to 10 or so thousand, which
pretty
obviously
quickly.
we weren't able to do today. Although, I mean, we put 4,000 rounds on both of these guns combined, so that's not too bad. Hope this was helpful, and we'll see you guys next time.
He's dead.